Hello, and welcome to the Zamorins Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Amal Kumar, and today we have an extraordinary guest joining us, Jennifer Bennett, president of Shive-Hattery. Shive-Hattery is a leading architectural and engineering firm known for its innovative approach to design and sustainability. We're thrilled to have Jennifer here to discuss her journey, the impactful work at Shive-Hattery, and how innovation shapes the industry's future. Jennifer, it's a real pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Amal. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yep, it's a great pleasure to see you here and talk to you. And I'd like to start off with the beginning. I'd love to begin by exploring your professional journey. What initially sparked your interest in engineering, and how did that path lead you to your current role at Shive-Hattery?
Well, I get asked this a lot, and truthfully, I don't remember ever not wanting to be an engineer. Math and science came easy to me. Other subjects like spelling and English did not. They were more work. And I think my dad was also an engineer, so I had that job modeled in my family. That was important. I think especially for my generation, who at that time there weren't a lot of women going into engineering. How did that lead me to my current role at Shive-Hattery? Oh gosh. I came to Shive-Hattery about 8 years into my career. Um, in complete honesty, I was at a point I had three young kids, all under the age of 4. And I found at Shive-Hattery, I came for the ability to have a part-time career that was still meaningful with responsibility and be part-time until my kids were in school. I also knew at that point several people at Shive-Hattery and knew them well, knew their character, and liked what I saw in the culture of Shive-Hattery from their character. So that's what got me to Shive-Hattery.
So, during your time at the Quad Cities, did you ever envision that you would eventually take on the role of president?
Oh no, gosh, no, wasn't in my career goals or plans early on, or really ever. My future goals and plans in those early years revolved around serving our clients, building my own business around Shive-Hattery. I loved the entrepreneurial culture we had here, and just loved that I could share risk with the company and really build my own business. I found my joy in serving our clients and working on tough projects and helping them solve a problem or helping them look good to whoever they reported to. Um, Positional authority within Shive-Hattery was not on my plan, but there were some things that changed that. There were some pivotal moments, as I think you noted. One was a leadership development program. We have an internal leadership development program I participated in about 2007, and that is a deep dive into leadership in our culture, led by our company president. I still lead this program today. Um, that really helped me understand Shive-Hattery, our culture, how we got things done, our culture of leadership. And shortly after that, I was offered my first people leadership role. Took some nudging. At that point, it was a group leader role for our group leader structural position in the Quad Cities, and took on that role. It was a very small group, just a couple of people at the time. Grew to be a very significant size group over the next several years, but I learned a lot in that role. I had a lot to work on. A lot of those skills I learned about in LDP, I got a chance to practice and hone, and that helped me shape who I am today. And through that, I found joy in really unexpected joy in developing people.
Yeah,
And that kind of took my career from that point on in a different direction than I had planned.
yeah. I mean, I can definitely tell you have great people skills, and that's something that I think I'm pretty good at talking to people, but I'm trying to get better at it. I'm still young. Uh,
Amal, it
but
is a lifelong journey. It's one that is never over.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, you've held your leadership roles for some time now. Um, How would you describe your leadership style, and has it evolved since you became president? Because I know it
Yeah,
has, but I want a little bit more details, like some examples
sure.
that you have.
I think really good leaders are able to shift their leadership style for the situation and the moment that they're in. And that's perhaps where most of my growth has been. So as I continue to evolve and grow as a leader, it's really about that where I have interactions that don't go as well. As I reflect on those, sometimes I sit back and I just learn I use the wrong leadership style for the moment. So for example, if I'm having a one-on-one conversation with a high performer, I'm in a very coaching type leadership style. I'm listening a lot. I'm asking questions. I'm giving advice where asked. I'm helping to clear roadblocks. I'm more in a coaching um, mode. If I'm in a meeting with our senior leadership team and we're chewing over a problem that needs a solution, I'm in more of a democratic leadership style, right? They've got the background they need to help bring ideas and to solve whatever issue we're working on. They're very experienced and in a very democratic, again, active listening, asking a lot of questions, allowing room, a lot of room for others to talk and bring ideas to the table. If we're trying to make big strategic change in the company, and we've done some of that recently, I'm in a totally different leadership style mode. I'm casting vision. I'm getting people on board. I'm helping people understand where their place and in the organization is. All of those leadership styles and others take different skill sets, and that is, I mentioned the lifelong journey. I think that's where the lifelong journey and learning is at for me. It's the art. It's the art of leadership and knowing when to use what set of skills.
Yeah, I mean, leadership and management is often, they often require different skill sets. And you explained how you went through two different ways of, you know, balancing that. Is there any other ways that you manage your leadership style, like balancing wise, but compared to those two, or like
Well, I
different?
think
Yeah.
you mentioned leadership and management, and sometimes management gets a bad rap in light of leadership, and it really is. Both are important to great organizations. You need to have great management, which is really the day to day, managing the day to day, setting metrics, goals, managing those, as well as the leadership, which has a longer term positioning and visioning component. Both are very important in any organization. The balance of those can be tough, especially for somebody like me. I'm an engineer. You give me a spreadsheet and I can get lost in that spreadsheet and making things change on that spreadsheet. That's all management. Uh, I can't live there and lead an organization like Shive-Hattery. But I credit an amazing senior leadership team that helps keep us balanced there. We've got really strong strengths in operations, as well as great balance of long-term thinking and visioning. So it's really a team effort.
Yeah, I mean, teamwork makes the dream work, right? That's the saying. Innovation is critical in architecture and engineering. How does Shive Hattery stay at the forefront of the industry?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that help us stay at the forefront of industry. It is one of our strategic pillars, so we're thinking about it always. But it is especially important today as technology and digital transformation is really transforming us very quickly. Um, so there are many things. We read a lot. We attend a lot of conferences, especially those that are focused on the future. Um, I think our culture helps us stay at the forefront of thought and design. By that, I mean we push authority here down to the lowest levels possible to allow quick implementation for changing technology. For example, I don't, if a market wants to implement a technology, they don't have to go through layers of leadership to get that approved. They can implement, and that type of decision making at the lowest level possible allows us to maybe be a little more nimble than a heavily bureaucratic firm. It's a little messier. It's a bigger opportunity to go in 5 different directions. So that's where the leadership comes in, but it does allow us to stay at the forefront of what's going on. I think asking a lot of questions, just being really curious, is not just a skill set that helps us here, but in everything. Be voracious consumers of information. Ask a lot of questions. Be curious and get information from a wide variety of sources.
So I have a question that I know that I handed you a list of questions and we're both going through them right now. But
Yeah,
this one's a little bit off topic. This one, that's something that I just thought
shoot.
of right now. Because you mentioned that you do all these things. There's different styles of management leadership. Do you also have like an EOS system in place? Because I've been trying to follow that recently, and I feel like that's been helping me a lot in my own business that I have.
Yeah, I think we have EOS-like systems. I believe that Traction EOS system is really geared for smaller businesses than Shive-Hattery. But there are some really great things in that we have implemented and meeting styles and some of the accountability. Um, I, I've seen that be very, very effective, and I think even the author um, indicates it's really for that smaller business setups. I think it's great that you're implementing that. It's a great system.
Yeah, it's great for my start, and with Zamorins Solutions and Parks App, I mean they already have their own systems in place.
Yeah,
They're going pretty strong. They're pretty efficient. But
yeah.
getting more on track here, are there any exciting projects or technological advancements that you are particularly enthusiastic about?
Any exciting projects or technological advancements? Well, there are. I'm always excited about projects, but let's talk about technology. As technology is poised to just shake up our whole world here. Um, so I am most excited, I think, about AI right now and what it means for Shive-Hattery. So if you think about what we do, we gather data and knowledge, and we use that to design um, buildings, infrastructure for our world, and we rely on that and that knowledge and the data to do that. Some of the difficulties in doing that is transferring that knowledge from generation to generation is a challenge. It's a never-ending challenge. We've done it well, but it still remains a challenge. And gathering that data and then accessing it in a way that it can be usable for our projects is also a challenge since it comes from so many different sources. I love what I see in AI and automation advances to be able to access our data and be a design partner with us. I think that is going to really significantly, in a positive way, impact our clients and impact our projects, allow us to do more with less. So that's what, in short, what I'm most excited about technology wise.
Yeah. So with digital solutions becoming more integral, how do you see Shive-Hattery potentially collaborating with companies like Xamarin Solutions to strengthen your digital presence and maintain a competitive edge?
Yeah, with it changing so quickly, we have to really dig deep and think about where we at Shive-Hattery are going to spend our R&D dollars, because there are so many places digitally in technology and digital transformation we could invest. So we need to be really wise, and we think about this this is a topic of common conversation. Where do we need to invest our R&D dollars? And that's going to be things that are unique to Shive-Hattery that nobody else is working on. That's where we're going to see our biggest return on investment. But then there are all the other things that are perhaps not unique to Shive-Hattery, where subject matter expertise outside of our firm, or even technology that isn't unique to Shive-Hattery, doesn't need to be unique to Shive-Hattery. Those are where we're going to see, and where we do see today, are partnerships. We can't do it all. No company can do it all. We do need to have partnerships to stay on the cutting edge.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are also consistently growing.
Hmm.
Like you guys are a huge company, and I remember I did make a reference to EOS earlier, right?
Yeah,
But regarding strategic planning, do you focus more on long-term goals or such as 5 to 10 year plans, or do you prefer to maintain like flexible with like shorter term objectives, like adjusting as needed? What do you
yeah.
prefer?
That's a great question. And again, I think the answer here is both. 10 years for any kind of strategic plan is, in my opinion, in our field, is too long. We do have a 5-year strategic plan, and that's all about pointing us in the right direction, for the long term. Things things that are on there, our strategic pillars are, as I mentioned, visionary company, staying on the forefront of thought and design. That's what that means for us. Also, client experience, delivering the best client experience we can. And then destination employer is also on there, being a destination employer in all the communities that we are in, a beacon. Those type of things are on our big long-term strategic plan. And as far as the client experience and our employee experience goes, those are the kind of things that don't change. Those stand the test of time. And the things that we work on in there are long-term things that stand the test of time. Then there are other things like how we're going to grow in a particular market. And we don't have a single, we're not at the top planning how our healthcare market is going to grow. We expect our healthcare market to gather together and make their strategic plans, or name any one of our other 16 markets, really form their strategic plans around what's right for them. That happens much more frequently than 5 years. The big strategic plan for those growth markets is 1 year with quarterly check-ins. Our large Shive-Hattery strategic plan with those big kind of longer term pillars, that's a 5-year strategic plan with yearly kind of refreshes and quarterly progress meetings. So it just depends what we're working on. I shouldn't say shoving, putting everything into a 5-year strategic plan, probably not right for the way the world is changing today. But putting those big things that stand the test of time in a longer strategic plan, and dealing with the more immediate things in a short-term strategic plan, is the way to go for us.
Hmm. Is there a recent project that stands out as a source of a particular pride? I mean, I'd
Mm,
love to hear about it because you're
gosh.
discussing your plans and all these things that are going on within your company, and I mean, you must have a lot going on, right? So I'd love to hear about this too.
Yeah, at any one moment we have thousands of projects going on, and I could start naming them, the ones that come up top to mind, and I'm gonna leave somebody's team out. But I'll answer it this way. Uh, and I think this is the way our majority of staff answers it. It doesn't matter if we're working on um, a new hospital bed in downtown Chicago, or the Seattle Storm's new practice facility, or a new big infrastructure project in the Des Moines area, or one of our clean energy projects we're doing across the state of Iowa, or we're moving a manufacturing crane for one of our manufacturing clients. It's The pride for us really comes from partnering with our clients. Doesn't matter what the project is, whether it's a small project or one of their large projects, and just developing a great relationship with those projects. You'll find the biggest source of pride in our staff are these relationships we've had for a long time. And to do that, it's not always about the big flashy projects, although there's a sense of pride from driving around a community and saying, we did that. But it really is, the pride for us comes from the strength of our relationships. I'm also very proud, speaking of pride, that we are headquartered in Iowa. We work nationwide, oftentimes even internationally, but we're coast to coast on our work, and we have been proudly headquartered in Iowa for 125 years and employee owned that entire time. And that this is Iowa is such a great state to be headquartered in. When we do some mergers and acquisitions, and when I'm out talking to maybe somebody on the West Coast or somebody in the Southwest or Southeast, they scratch their heads and they think about Iowa, and then they get here and they see what we're all about. This is a great state to work in, and we're proud to be here.
Oh, I agree.
Proud, yeah,
I lived here my whole life. I mean, to see how fast it's grown,
yeah,
like not even like 20 years. Like I'm thinking like at least 5 years ago till now. There's so many more businesses popping up. There's so much more people moving in,
yeah,
and it's growing really fast. And
yeah,
I'm proud to be an Iowan for that reason, because more people are acknowledging like, hey, like there's actually quite a bit you can do here in terms of business and economics and things like that.
yeah. I often say it can be challenging to get people here who aren't familiar with it, but we are we are really good at keeping people
Yeah, I
once they're
mean,
here.
it's a flyover state, right? And people don't really think much of it. They come here, they stop here, and they go to wherever they want to go. I mean, people don't really come here for vacation, but living here means a lot. I
Hmm.
mean, cost of living and the traffic is not as bad as other places, and
Yeah,
that's honestly great. But I'm not trying to I'm not trying to talk so much about Iowa. I'm sorry if I'm going on a rant here.
yeah.
But anyway, what are the critical challenges for the architecture and engineering industry for over the next few years?
There are a couple, and workforce remains critical. I think the two I'm going to mention are interrelated. Workforce is huge. Um, we were just at one of our large conferences last week, and this conference represents 80 to 90% of all the revenue in architecture and engineering. All the big firms are there. Like I said, 80 to 90% of the revenue. So a great majority of architecture and engineering revenue is at this conference. And all of those employers, the statistic, we had together 60,000 job openings open. We aren't graduating that many. Not not even counting the number we have retiring. We have a huge workforce issue in both architecture and engineering, but particularly engineering, and that is a huge challenge for us in the future. Uh, the second challenge is technology, which can, if done well, help our workforce issue. But with all of the transformation ahead of us on technology, particularly around automation and AI, and the wise use, where we use that, where we don't use it, that is also a challenge. You know, where to invest, again, where to invest our R&D dollars, where are our partners investing, so we don't have to. What do we need to be focusing on? So those are the kind of challenges we're working on today. Other challenges are outside of our control. You know, they are political, geopolitical, economic challenges. I I tend to focus on the things we can have control over, and not so much those other things.
Conversely, what opportunities are you most excited about?
Oh, I would say the digital transformation and technology. Very excited about opportunities there. Again, because I think it can help us with knowledge transfer and learning and development in our staff, as well as providing um, uh, just a better client experience if done well. I think that can really help us deliver the forefront of thought and design consistently every single time because of the access to data.
So, yeah, in today's rapidly evolving landscape, how crucial is digital transformation for a company like Shive-Hattery? Exactly, because I mean, there's so many things that you can do with that. I just want more of the specifics.
Yeah. Well, I'll go so far to say if we don't embrace digital transformation smartly, making good decisions, investing in the right things, if we don't do that well, uh, long term, it would be difficult. I think it would be challenging for us to stay in business. There are, because our competition will certainly embrace it, and there are uh, game changers ahead of us when it comes to delivering for our clients and helping to solve this huge workforce problem we have as well. So if we don't embrace it, I think survival is on the line.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Um, in what areas could a partnership with Xamarin Solutions help enhance efficiency or client experience?
Yeah, I think that's the same answer.
Yeah,
Once partnerships are incredibly important in everything we do. We bring we need to we identify areas where we bring expertise and where we lead, where we're going to invest our R&D dollars, where we're going to work on transformation of our own technology, and then everything else, every other expertise we need, we can bring on through partnerships. So we don't have to try and be all things to all people.
yeah,
Partnerships are important, whether we're talking about projects or whether we're talking about digital transformation, communication.
yeah,
Partnerships are important.
yeah. Like you said, your main thing is building clientele and partnerships and just maintaining that bond with people, no matter how small the projects are or big the projects
Right.
are. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about personal insights and advice. So, with such a successful career, how do you maintain a work-life balance? I mean, it can be really challenging to juggle that.
Yeah. So this might be an unpopular answer. I think especially at this level, there is not great what most people would look at my life and say you do not have great work-life balance. I have never seen it as a balance. I have seen it always throughout my career as more of an integration. Sometimes family wins, sometimes business wins. It just depends on what's going on and what's most urgent. But in this position, where I have nearly 600 people, depending on leadership and good decision making, there more often, and I think any CEO would say this, more often, Shive-Hattery, uh, Shive-Hattery needs to win. There's a lot of people depending on me. And I think anybody, once you step into a people leadership position, needs to weigh that when they're thinking about whether that's something they want to do. If you step into a position where you're responsible for people leadership, there are other types of leadership, but that you're taking on an incredible responsibility, and you need to make sure you're at the right place in your life for that you've got the freedom to be able to do that well, and then embrace it.
Yeah. So for you, the work-life balance, I mean, it depends, right?
It depends. I consider, like I said, it's an integration. Looking back at my life, I didn't miss many of my kids' baseball games, but I sure wasn't the homeroom mom or the team mom, or a lot of times I was the parent that donated to those causes because that's what I had time for. I again had to evaluate what I spent time on and what I didn't spend time on, and you can't. It's okay. You can't do it all. Uh, Pick the things that are most important, and while there's always things I would do differently. I think overall there were very few regrets there. I feel like I got, uh, uh, like I said, didn't miss many of the important things, but also was constantly juggling. What's more important, this event here in my personal life, or this event here at Shive-Hattery? And it depends. Sometimes work wins, sometimes family wins.
Yeah, I agree. And nobody's perfect. You're a mother, right? And my mom, she's running her business as well, and it's the same case. Like she couldn't attend every single game that I had, like basketball game, because I grew up playing
Right.
basketball and some different sports, and she couldn't be there for everything. But I remember we still spend time together, watching movies and stuff, hanging out,
Yep.
going out to eat. Um,
Yeah. You end up just prioritizing the high value things on both sides.
yeah, no matter what, every day she's working hard. With her
Hmm.
team in India, people here, networking, going to these different events, and you and her are very much alike. Yeah, I mean, you guys
Hmm.
are very down to earth and very nice, and I really appreciate that. And it gives me a sense of comfortability. Like I feel like I'm talking to my mom in that sense. I'm
Oh,
not in a weird way. I'm just saying like
yeah.
you just that
Gotcha. I look
vibe.
forward to getting to know her better. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. We have a coffee thing going
yeah.
on here soon. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be there for that.
Good.
But I know you gave a little bit of advice, but is there any other advice you would offer to someone, just beginning in their career in this field, especially those aspiring to leadership positions in the future?
Yeah, so there's many different ways to lead, but what you're probably asking about is positional authority, people leadership. That's what a lot of people think about when they think about leadership. So again, I would dig deep. If that is of interest to you or anybody listening, I think the best things in your career, the best thing you can work on is developing your skills in emotional intelligence. This is a lifelong journey. It's really being able to read people, respond in a way that uh, brings you to the goals, brings you to the outcome that you need. Really leading that, uh, leading with emotional intelligence. I would also ask anybody just to dig deep, and be really honest with yourself as you're thinking about aspiring to a leadership position in the future. Be really honest. Why do you want it? If you look at your answers and they are mostly about you, I would rethink whether you want to be in a people leadership position. I think you're setting yourself up for an empty, frustrating life. If you look back on those reasons and they're mostly about others and things outside of you, you may be on a path that can bring you great purpose and great joy. But I do think it requires a lot of self reflection. It is not for everybody, and as we talked about before, it is very challenging to achieve work life balance in a people leadership position. It is, uh, you've got a lot of people depending on you.
Yeah, for me, I get that sense of like, okay, I don't want to let anybody down when it came to school or sports or anything. Like, yeah, you factor in yourself, but for me, I like to prove, or like I like to show, like, hey, like I'm a valuable asset. I have all these things that I could do and I can contribute. Like being part of the team. It's
Sure.
not really stress. I mean, there can be stress, but it's more the matter of being there for others while you have things on your plate. Um, but we all have hobbies too. We all have things that we'd like to do besides the work that we have to put in, right?
Yes, and you absolutely don't want to aspire to something that's going to make you miserable uh, in your career. So that's why I just say, leadership leadership positions. Don't think of it as a ladder. Just really think about why you want the position, and whether that is an end that will bring you fulfillment and purpose and joy, or not.
Yeah. So I heard through the grapevine that you're an avid reader. Do you have any book recommendations, particularly for those looking to deepen their understanding of leadership or business
Oh,
management?
sure. I'm an avid reader of business books and all things. I do read a lot. As far as business books, I'll go back to the oldies but goodies that are still today part of our leadership development program. I really like Daniel Goleman's work on emotional intelligence and emotional competence. He's written a lot on that, from articles to books. I think he's he's right on a lot of things. I've learned a lot from his work. John Cotter's work on, particularly on leading change. He's got a book called Leading Change that has helped me tremendously in the type of organization that Shive-Hattery is. Patrick Lencioni's book, The Advantage. Out of all of them, that's probably my favorite. He's a writer. If there's a topic in The Advantage that appeals to you, he's probably got another separate book that expands on it. Those are all part of our leadership development program. More recent books that I'm reading that may or may not become part of our leadership development program. Liz Wiseman wrote a book, Multipliers. It's about using your leadership management style to help multiply others and lift up others. It's a great book. Stephen Rogelberg's book, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, might be Rogelberg. Glad We Met. It's the power of the one-on-one meetings. That's got some really great stuff in it. Currently reading Deep Purpose. That is by Gulati, I think. And that's I'm enjoying that. And then let's see, Martin Gladwell's Outliers. That's not too recent, but it's a good book too. Those are the ones that come to top of mind.
It's quite a few. I like that though. I mean, books are really interesting. For me, I'm trying to get more into books. I haven't really been on top of my reading game recently, but when I enjoyed learning, and like not even just like learning things, but also stories, like things like that, like nonfiction, fiction doesn't matter. I really like hearing about that or enjoying it. I'm pretty sure there's audiobooks I'm trying to get into as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this question is I don't want to say it's off topic, but it does relate to this podcast here. Is there anything related or personal that keeps you awake at night?
Oh, well, yes, I used to be kept up awake at night just thinking through things. But what I have learned is if there's something keeping me up at night and I can do something about it, I just get up and deal with it. Otherwise, I just stay there and continue to think about it and stew on it. And I get a terrible night's sleep and I'm ill prepared for the next day. So I just get up and do it. If it's something I have no control over, uh, I have learned just to pray about it and try and real hard to let it go. So things that fall into that category, that would be things like the economy, geopolitical stability, um, anything political or anything my grown sons are doing. Uh, not 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 in any power to influence in any meaningful way. So I try real hard just to let those go.
You're like, oh, why are they out so late or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I stay out late too. I hang out with my friends a lot. But I agree. There's like if there's something that I know I have to do, sometimes I do want to finish it late at night because sometimes I go to bed real late and like with either homework or a song. Like, hey, I don't want to stress about it the next day because I am a procrastinator. But there's certain things where I stress. If I stress a little hard enough, I'm like, yeah, I'll do this right now, and it could be at any moment, really.
Yeah. It's, I think as a leader, really any for all of us, but especially as a leader prioritizing sleep is very important. So whatever you can do to do that. And for me, I'm the same way. If I'm bothered by something, I have a tendency to, if I don't do something about it, will just stay awake all night, which just is not helpful. So I'll just get up and do it, even if it means I go to bed a little later. It's still in the end more sleep ahead.
Yeah, I mean, my sleep schedule is all over the place sometimes, but
Yeah,
when it
I
comes to the
bet as a
last,
student. Yep.
when it comes to the last question, what are the big questions or challenges that you have on your mind?
Um. Well, oh, there are a lot of challenges ahead of us. I do tend to focus on things, again, that I can do something about and spend most of my mental energy on those. So those are, uh, again, our two big issues: attraction and retention of workforce. How do I make this a great place for our people and continue to be a destination employer? And also the technological advances. I think those are where many of us are spending our mental energy right now, just staying on the forefront of everything that is coming at us right now. The other things, there's a lot going on in the economy. There's a lot going on: recession, no recession, politics, geopolitically. There's a lot to think about. But again, I try to stay focused on Shive-Hattery, our own resiliency, things we can do to make us resilient, whether that's geographic expansion, market diversity, among other things, and not worry about so much, not have anxiety over the things I have very little control over, or Shive-Hattery has very little control over.
Well, we've made it to the end of the podcast, and it's been a really great session that we've had today, and I'm very appreciative talking to you and learning so much from you. And this right here, this episode means so much to me because you know you are basically an icon. You, I mean, in my eyes, your company is so huge and you've done so much, and this right here, it feels so surreal.
Oh, oh well, I'm honored, Amal. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was an honor to be here. You can probably sense my pride for Shive-Hattery. It's had for as long as I've been here, and I love to talk about things like this and how we can impact our communities together.
Yeah, we're gonna talk more further after the podcast. So, but yeah,
All right. Well, it was great to be
thank
here with you today.
thank you so much, and take care.